Isn't it funny how, like, outside of the prison system, why is it all these, like, white supremacist neo-Nazi types tend to have these two body types right here? So I'm sure you've seen in Florida, the other day, that a small group of neo-Nazis, I think it was like 15 or 20 of them, came out because they felt emboldened enough to come out and engage with their First Amendment to yell anti-Semitic things at passing by motorists. And I'm going to show you what they were saying, and even worse, the most bizarre response coming from DeSantis. And I cannot believe the right thinks DeSantis's response was intelligent, because he gave one of the most stupid responses politically. He's set himself up politically. How is this yo guy for 2024 over Trump? Explain that to me. Is this yo king, really? Because all I've seen out of DeSantis is just garbage, hot garbage. He did like one thing I agreed with, which was the being able to sue any company if they make you get vaxxed and then you had a bad reaction or whatever and you had to hold them liable. I thought that was the only like good thing he's ever done. The rest of his stuff was like pandering, virtue signaling nonsense. And I don't understand. Luckily, my Jewish brothers out there saw DeSantis' response and was like, nah, this ain't it. However, I saw a lot of other conservatives thinking his response to this situation, this scenario, was actually intelligent. And we can compare it to Trump, who had to deal with Charlottesville, which was a very similar circumstance on a larger scale. But Trump came out and gave an okay statement. He condemned everybody and he gave the names. He named the groups specifically and came out harsh against them. Now, the media still spun it because that's what the media does, okay? They're not there to inform you. They're there to entertain, sensationalize, and outrage you for money, which is why the Very Fine People hoax caught on. But now, DeSantis properly set himself up for certain criticisms because he's an idiot. And now I'm going to show you what was going on with these neo-Nazis, actual neo-Nazis, and this insanely brain-dead take from DeSantis.
Hail Hitler, what he did! No more Jews!
You get some black power, you got white power here.
White power!
You're live.
Isn't it funny how, like, just a second, isn't it funny how, like, outside of the prison system, why is it all these, like, white supremacist neo-Nazi types tend to have these two body types right here? You ever notice that? They're either short and obese or so scrawny they can't even fill out their clothes, and they're wearing overly baggy clothes. Like, if you're a white supremacist, like, they ain't sending their best. If your argument is that you're the superior group, really hard to make that case when you looking like that, my guy. But I'm just making an observation. I'm just noticing a pattern.
6 million viewers.
Say hi. Say hi.
White pride's when you think it, white power is when you live it. You can shove that finger up your rabbi's ass.
He's a Jew.
He's a Jew. Look at him. Guess where you're going back to?
You know how we know you're a Jew? We can tell by how close your eyes are together, you fucking cunt.
Oy vey! I'm gonna go tell somebody about this. Let me tell my rabbi. What are you gonna do? Let me go suck some baby penis. It's a papa. What do you say?
Again, for any, white nationalists, any chance they see that, is this your best? Really? Really making a hard case. Pity.
They suck the blood from the baby's penis like the rabbi does. All I'm saying is I'm a satisfied customer. Come again.
White power! White power! White power! White power! White power!
I would really like to sit down with these people and ask them some questions, because that is just pathetic. But I'm in LA, and so I'm not gonna get a chance to ask these people some hard questions, because you can't do this in LA. You will get jumped. And that doesn't even have to be the bad neighborhoods. You can take that to the Jewish neighborhoods. Because there's some swole Jewish dudes over there that would jump people like this. Now, let's look at DeSantis's brain-dead response. So, I can't... The source video is not good enough, so I'm going to use Dinesh D'Souza's video, because the audio in the original is really, really low. But it's the same video. So it doesn't really matter. It's just a different angle.
So what I'm going to say is these people, these Democrats who are trying to use this as some type of political issue to try to smear me as if I had something to do with it, we're not playing their game. You know, some jackasses, doing this on the street. First of all, state law enforcement is going to hold them accountable because they were doing stuff on the overpass.
Why are you making this about Democrats? Just condemn the Nazis, my guy. This is not a hard concept. But it gets worse.
So they're absolutely going to do that, and they should do that. But I'm not going to have people try to smear me that belong to a political party that has elevated anti-Semites to the halls of Congress like Ilhan Omar.
What does that have to do with what happened? Do you see how he deflects to, but Democrats, but then won't condemn the Nazis? This is what I'm talking about. That's politically retarded. Why would you do that? Why would you go, yeah, Nazis showing up in my state are bad, but the Democrats, like, what? Bro, get out of here with Ilhan Omar. No, nobody takes her seriously.
That have played footsie with the BDS movement, that even have people in their party that have cavorted with Farrakhan. No.
And we're not talking about them right now. We're talking about your response to what happened in Florida. And the fact you won't just condemn it, and then you move on to, but Democrats? Why? That's what I'm questioning. Because Trump came out and said the neo-Nazis should be condemned totally. I was like, he went out in front of that and said that. But that's because Trump is much smarter than DeSantis, especially when it comes to media.
No, we're going to take our record in Florida and what we've done, sign the strongest anti-Semitism bill in the country. You
know what annoys me about Republicans? I'm just going to go on a quick side note because Glenn Youngkin did this. I was going to make a video about it, but I never got around to it. These people, like DeSantis and Glenn Youngkin, I will go on Youngkin specifically, because he passed executive orders about CRT, and nobody on the right knows what it is, and I've already brought this up. I don't like CRT, but I've actually read the texts. And people like I said, Youngkin said you can't single out people based on race and make rules, making certain things for certain races, because they're saying that's wrong. But then Youngkin and DeSantis make these special anti-Semitism task forces. And Jew, last I checked, is an ethno-religious group. So now apparently you can make rules based on ethnicity. Just depends on which one. Now, I have a question to my Jewish brothers and sisters out there. How did you get them to do this? Because the Republicans won't even, outside of Trump, won't even acknowledge us. Black hate crimes skyrocketed in 2020 and then continue to go up in 2021, and when we bring it up, nobody will acknowledge it. The right will just tell us to shush. But anytime on the right you say anything against Jews, Trump put in hate speech laws on college campuses for Jews. I just want to know, what did y'all do? Give your secret to black people. We need it right now.
We've stared down companies who were indulged in BDS like Airbnb, and we've won. We've provided record funding for Jewish day schools.
And address the problem.
And we've had the strongest relationship between Florida and Israel than we ever had in terms of education, business, all these tremendous things that have happened
Okay, listen, if I'm a political opponent right now, I would say this sounds like, but I have black friends. This is what it kind of sounds like right now. I'm telling you how it comes off. Whether or not he actually, is thinking like that, I don't know. But I'm saying what it sounds like, and if I was their political opponent, that is one of the angles you could possibly take. Because he set himself up like an idiot.
Since our state visit in 2019. And so they try to play games to try to politicize. Why would they do that? Why would they want to elevate a half dozen malcontents and try to make this an issue for political gain? Well, because they want to distract from the failure that we've seen with Biden. And they're all joined at the hip. All these policies, they all support. And
what does this have to do with Biden? Just say the Nazis are bad. That's all you had to do. We know it didn't matter what was happening, regardless. And then, this clown had the audacity to try and speculate that the neo-Nazis may have been Democratic operatives. Look, if it found out that that was the case, you still set yourself up because you won't condemn the Nazis. So even if it turns out that this was a Democrat hit job, it doesn't matter because you took the bait. That's why I said, how is this the 2024 guy over Trump? What? You have got to be out of your damn mind to think this guy's got anything going for him. I always said, look, if you put DeSantis in 2024, I'm just going to tell you, if he got elected, you're just going to get a neocon. Because Trump made DeSantis. DeSantis was a nobody before this. He doesn't have any charisma, and he's not strong. This is not a strong person. Remember, if you get a populist to go into the presidency, you're going to have government bureaucrats all over your ass trying to influence you to do certain things, certain very corporatist or warmongery things. Does this sound like the guy that will tell them to fuck off? I do what I want? Because even Trump had trouble doing that. He did it. He did it towards the end. The first half he couldn't do it. I'm just saying, this ain't the guy. Because right now, Democrats and Republicans, 2024, y'all got nobody.
Florida, 100%. The inflation that these policies have caused, that's absolutely killing people at the gas pump, in the grocery store, making everything we do in the economy more expensive. You look at the disaster on the southern border, people from like 100.
How did we go from a neo-Nazi rally in Florida to Biden's inflation? Just say the Nazis are bad, dude.
Different countries pouring into the country illegally, hundreds of thousands of people a month. They support those policies. Those are bad policies. You look at the crime throughout the country that's really spiraling out of control because of soft on crime policies. We're not going to let that happen in Florida, but that is something that they're tied at the hip with. You look internationally, how our country's been humiliated, how these other problems are happening, all because...
Now this has basically become a campaign speech. This has nothing to do anymore with the event that happened. He just went to Democrats bad, giving them the ammo that they wanted. All they wanted was for him to not condemn the Nazis. And DeSantis gave them what they wanted. Like I said, that's why I said, even if they were Democrat operatives, which I doubt, but maybe, I don't know. But it doesn't matter. Because even if it finds out it was a hoax, you didn't condemn Nazis, my guy. Do you understand that?
Because of the failure of leadership. And so that is what they're trying to avoid, is being able to be held accountable for that. So we're not going to let them get away, with these stupid things where they're trying to smear somebody unfairly. And I will not be smeared by them. And that's just a reality. And oh, by the way, Florida is probably, maybe other than Israel, the #1 destination for Orthodox Jews to move to if you look over the last 2 years.
Again, I said this before, I'll say it again. This sounds like I have black friends. If I was your political opponent, I could take that angle really easily because you set me up perfectly.
because we do it right, because we have provided tremendous support, and that's just what we're going to continue to do in the state of Florida.
So there you go. And like I said, this ain't the guy. This is just a virtue signaling clown. It's like, okay, good on him. He has no lockdowns or mask mandates or whatever. He banned mask mandates, which was retarded, because I'm like, that's an overreach of government to say you can't, a business can't say you have to. That's dumb. But it's like, what are you gonna run on? That I didn't lock down my state? Okay. Neither did Kristi Noem. So like I said, he's got nothing going for him. The only time I see him cheered for is he said the Brandon administration. Ooh, woo. Trump could come back with more fire than that without even trying. But I'm just saying, why couldn't you just say Nazis are bad, dude? Why? Whether you believe it or not, it doesn't really matter now, because you gave them the ammo and now you can't do it later because it's too late. Because now they're just going to say, why didn't you do it? Why do we have to bother you this much to get you to do it? So, like I said, this is not a smart politician. I don't know why so many people on the right think this is their king and this is the guy. He ain't the guy.